Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham, buddham, buddham vande. Dhammang, dhammang, dhammang vande. Sanghang, sanghang, sanghang vande. Buddham, dhammang, sanghang vande. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in Dhamma, today our topic is anger management. Here we have selected a very special topic in Buddhism, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya, Aghata-pativinaya Sutta. The discourse of how to reduce anger. The path how to reduce anger. This is the topic of this discourse or sutra. Anger management is one of the teachings in Buddhism. First of all, I would like to tell you that the importance of listening to what Buddha taught. If we listening to Buddha's real message, if we listening to Buddha's message mindfully, actually it is also one of the meditation techniques. That is also one of the entrances of liberation. Buddhism has explained 5 doors, entrances of liberation. One of them is listening to Dhamma. When you are listening to Buddha's real message mindfully, at the moment you can eradicate, you can reduce your defilements in your mind. The very important thing is mindfulness. That is why we always say that mindfulness is our best friend. Here, first of all, we should know the real enemies in our life. One day Buddha says, it is better to win your defilements than winning 1,000 of enemies in the battlefield. If we can defeat our negative thoughts, evils from our mind, that is very important than defeating a lot of enemies in the war, in the battlefield. According to Buddhism, real enemies are inside, not outside. There are 3 unwholesome roots that disturb our peace of mind. We always recognize what are the enemies and what enemies are inside at the moment. For that, we should be knowledgeable and we should be mindful. If we are mindful, we can recognize our enemies who are in the present moment in our mind. According to what Buddha said, there are 3 unwholesome roots, evils in our mind. I think all of you know about it. What they are? What are the real enemies? Yes, lobha, dosa and moha. Lobha means greed or desire or lust, and dosa, yes, anger, hatred or ill will. And third one, moha, delusion or ignorance. These are the enemies. all Buddhist doctrines focus on how to reduce these enemies, these negative thoughts. Among those 3 unwholesome roots, what is the worst one? Delusion. Delusion is the main cause. Delusion is like main switch. If you can put off the main switch, automatically the other devices are put off. And however, it is very difficult to infest. That is why Buddhism has explained some primary techniques to reduce these 2 evils or unwholesome roots. What are the techniques that we can use for reducing these defilements? Yes, when we practice generosity, when we offer something to others, our mind is generous, our mind is so calm and pure. We can overcome greed, very big attachment. That is the way that we can use to overcome greed for material things. What is the techniques to reduce lust for animate persons, for people? Practicing impurity of our physical body. We usually think that our physical body is very pleasant and pure, but there are a lot of impure things in our physical body. When we contemplate on the nature of our physical body, such as our hair, our skin, our blood, separately we contemplate on these physical body parts, then it helps us to overcome lust or attachment with people or persons. And what is the technique of reducing anger or hatred? Yes, one of them is loving kindness. The other one is practicing morality or virtue. When we have good discipline in our speech and behavior, that is also one of the techniques that we can use to overcome anger. What are the techniques to overcome delusion? Yes, one of them is mindfulness. Not only mindfulness, but concentration and insight meditation. The other one is, the very important thing is listening to Dhamma mindfully with good attention. That is why there were some disciples in Buddha's time who attain enlightenment while they are listening to Dhamma. Not only listening to Dhamma, but someone can speak, someone can preach Buddha's message mindfully and wisely, then that person also can overcome suffering. That person also can reduce defilements at the moment while he is preaching Dhamma. Therefore, this is very beneficial to both of us. And what are the techniques to reduce delusion? One of them is mindfulness. The other one is practicing concentration meditation or samatha bhavana. The other one is insight meditation. And also, mindfulness is the foundation. Mindfulness is the center. What is the mindfulness? Awareness of our body and mind. When we look at something, ordinary people look at outside, what happens to them, what happens to those things. But we, the Buddha's disciples, we look at inside. When we experience something through our senses, we don't keep our attention to outside, we keep our attention to inside. like when we go to the mirror. When we go to the mirror, we think our physical body. Even though we look at the mirror, we think what is happening to my body. That is why we comb our hair. That is why we clean our face when we are in front of the mirror. Like that, we should be aware of whenever we experience something through our senses. This is the real training that we should develop day by day. Here, Buddha says, actually this discourse is said by Reverend Sariputta, who is one of the chief disciples of the Buddha, and Dhammagaru, the brigadier of dispensation of the Buddha, Dhammagaru. This discourse is explained by Reverend Sariputta. Here, there are 5 techniques that we can use to reduce anger. Anger is one of the main reasons that we suffer. In our day-to-day life, we mostly unhappy, suffering because of anger with some people or some things. If we can overcome anger, actually we are so lucky, we can overcome more than 50% stress in our day-to-day life. That is why Buddha has emphasized the importance of practicing loving kindness on the path of liberation. There is a very special discourse that Buddha said as a primary technique that we should practice at the beginning of the path of liberation is that Karaniya Metta Sutta. There Buddha said, he who wishes to attain peace of mind should practice loving kindness. Until we practice loving kindness, actually we haven't started our spiritual journey. Our spiritual journey starts with practicing loving kindness. Here, Reverend Sariputta explains 5 steps, 5 techniques that we can use to reduce our anger. One of the first thing is here, Reverend Sariputta says, there are some people who are impure in their bodily behavior, but they are pure in verbal behavior. When we associate some people in the society, there are some people who are impure in their bodily actions, bodily behavior, but they are pure in their verbal actions. How do we overcome anger about them? We should think their positive part. Even though they are impure in their bodily actions, even though they do some bad deeds physically, but they are good verbally. When they think their positive part, we can overcome suffering, we can overcome anger. It doesn't mean that we should forget their negative part. Buddhism never says us to forget anything. Be sure. That is very important. But Buddhism has explained sometimes we should not think it. But Buddhism never says us to forget anything. The reason is, the main doctrine in Buddhism is that we have to practice mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, what happens to our memory? Yes, our memory gradually increases when we practice mindfulness. Forgiveness is a quality But forgetting is not a quality. That is very important. This is the first step that we have to practice as a technique to reduce anger. Here, Reverend Sariputta has given an example. What is the example? There is a very dirty cloth on the road. When some person is going on the road, he sees that dirty cloth. But one of part is pure, not dirty. What that person does? That person tears the dirty cloth and it removes it, and he gets the good part. Like that. When we associate some people, even though some people have evil bodily actions, we don't care it. We don't think it. We think his good part, positive part, which is good verbal actions. That is the first step. The second person is, there are some people who are impure in verbal actions, but they are pure in bodily actions. Then we should not think his verbal actions. We think only his good actions, which are bodily actions. Then we can overcome anger for them. What is the example that Sariputta has given, Bhante Sariputta has given in this second step? There is a person who needs to drink some water, who is very thirsty. He is finding water. When he finding water, he find a well or water tank, waterfall. That waterfall has some water plants in the surface level. What does that person do? That person removes those water plants from the water and he drinks something. Like that. When we associate some people who are impure in their verbal actions, but they are pure in their physical actions, physical behavior, we think they are good physical behavior, then we can overcome anger. That is the second step. The third one, there are some people who are impure bodily and verbal behavior, but they purify their mind from time to time. They practice meditation periodically. They purify their mind even though they have some physical and verbal misbehaviors. Then we can think that person's good part, that they purify their mind by practicing meditation. That is the third step. What is the example in this third part? There is the person who is going on the way to find water, who is very thirsty. He finds a cow's footprint on the road. There is some little water. He can't find a waterfall or well. He finds only very few small paddle or cow's footprint on the road. Then he kneels down and he drinks some water. like that. When we associate some people in the society, even though they are impure bodily and verbal behavior, but they practice meditation from time to time to purify their mind, contemplating on their good qualities, that they practice meditation, we try to overcome anger for them. That is the third step. What is the fourth one? There are some people who are impure in their bodily actions, bodily behavior, and their verbal behavior. And also, they don't practice meditation from time to time. Physically, verbally, and mentally, they are impure. But here also, we have to overcome anger, because when we are angry, disadvantages come to us. When our mind is impure, when we are angry, actually we have no real happiness. Here, we strive to keep a safety to our life. That is why, even though some people who are impure around us, we have to overcome our anger. The reason is, the very important thing in our life is our mind. If our mind is impure, actually we have no inner peace, we have no real happiness. Therefore, we have to overcome anger little by little. Here, the fourth one, we are saying that there are some people who are impure in their bodily actions, their verbal actions, and also they don't practice meditation. They don't purify their mind by using meditation techniques. Here also we have to overcome suffering in the fourth one. What is the fifth one? Again, in the fourth one, we should understand, even though now these people are impure, hereafter, after they die, they have to fall into hell. When we think their future situation, we can overcome anger. Even though now they are happy, very recently they will be unhappy. They will be suffering, falling into hell. When we think their future situation, we can overcome our anger. The fifth one, there are some people who are pure in their bodily behavior and their verbal behavior, and also they practice meditation from time to time. They purify their mind by practicing meditation techniques periodically. They are completely pure, verbally, physically, and mentally. Here, the example is, there is a person who is going on the way. He is going through a very successful and luxurious places. His front is also, there are a lot of facilities, and their back side also there are a lot of facilities. When they think their activities, we can overcome suffering, we can overcome anger. And also those people who are pure physically, verbally, and mentally, they will be reborn in heaven. After they die, they will have a blissful life. When we think their future, we can overcome anger. These are the 5 steps that we can practice as a meditation technique or as techniques to reduce our anger. Here, now we should understand the very important meditation technique on the path of reducing anger, that is loving kindness meditation. There are a lot of discourses in Buddhism how we practice loving kindness. The main purpose of practicing loving kindness is to overcome anger. What is the other result? What is the other purpose of practicing loving kindness meditation? When we practice loving kindness meditation, one of them is reducing anger. That is the first advantage. What is the other benefit? This is one of the meditation techniques, concentration meditation technique. Even though we are not angry with other people, we can use this technique as a concentration meditation technique in our day-to-day life when we go on the path of liberation. That is one of the purposes of practicing loving kindness. This is a very simple meditation technique that we can contemplate on. First of all, we think our life. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May my all righteous wishes meet with success. May I attain final bliss of liberation. Again and again, we wish ourselves. We think my success. After that, we wish other people who are around us. May my relatives, may my friends, may my enemies, may all beings in the world be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May always meet with success. May they attain final bliss of liberation. Again and again we think, we develop this intention, we develop these mental thoughts. Then in one side, we purify our mind from anger. On the other side, we develop our concentration. We keep our attention in the present moment using loving kindness meditation technique. As the result of practicing loving kindness meditation, Buddha says in the discourse of Metta Sutta or Karaniya Metta Sutta, as soon as we meet a person, we think that person like my only son. This is the highest attitude that we can develop in our mind for the people in the world. If we can think like that, if we have this kind of attitude in our life, how beautiful our mind is. We have no struggles. We have no problems with people. We always try to help others. We are happy when they are successful. As the result of practicing loving kindness meditation, we see all over the world like our family, like our children. Then we don't criticize others. We are always ready to forgive others. We are always ready to help others. As the result of practicing loving kindness, we have other benefits, we have other results. What they are? When someone practices loving kindness, he has not only loving kindness thoughts, but he has compassion. karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. When someone is suffering, he is ready to help them. And also when someone succeeds, he is happy, like his success. And also he creates a balanced mind among good and bad. Sometimes he can't control outside things. Even though some people who are close relatives and friends are suffering, he can't control some things because of karmic law. Then they are silent. Even Buddha. Sometimes Buddha's some relatives faced some problems. Buddha tried again and again to release them, but Buddha couldn't do it. Then Buddha was silent. Even though we are rich, we are well educated, sometimes we can control some outside things because of several reasons. One of them is the result of karmic law. Then we have to be silent. At the moment, we make a balanced mind, unshaken mind. That is upekkha. These four things Buddhism says as four sublime states: metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. Loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. These are the qualities that Brahma practices in the Brahma realm. The divine persons in the Brahma realm, they are living with these four states. If someone can practice these qualities in the human realm, that person can live as a Brahma bearing a human physical body. Mentally, we are Brahmas. Physically, we are human beings. This is the way how we can live as a Brahma in the human realm. Physical body is not the main thing. Our mental condition is the highest thing that we can develop. For example, even though you are well educated, even though you are very rich, even though you have a very beautiful physical body, if you are angry, if your mind is lustful, actually you can see the beauty of your life. You can get the benefits from your education and your properties. Like that. Even though we have a lot of difficulties physically, if we are healthy mentally, actually we don't feel our physical things, because mentally we are in the higher level. That is why we use concentration meditation techniques. As the result of practicing meditation, especially practicing concentration meditation, we trained our mind to not to depend on outside material things and persons. That is the first result that we receive throughout practicing meditation. As we always mentioned, there are two meditation techniques in Buddhism. One of them is concentration meditation or samatha meditation. The purpose of practicing loving kindness meditation is not to fix our mind in outside persons and things. It doesn't mean that we don't respond to others. Actually, we are very sensitive. We respond outside things, but we don't depend on outside. Then outside persons and things can control our inner peace. because we depend on inside. Among good and bad, we do only thing is laughing. As soon as we experience something through our senses, we look at inside. That is the purpose of practicing concentration meditation. What is the purpose of practicing inside meditation? Then we don't depend on our even mind. We depend on wisdom. By practicing meditation, we create a mind to live always contemplating, reflecting on impermanence always. Then we see only thing in our life is impermanent. Practicing concentration and meditation is like these lights. What is like inside meditation? Inside meditation is like writing a letter under these lights. Even though lights are put off, the letter that we wrote is remained. When electricity goes out, our letter, it doesn't erase. Our inside meditation also like that. We can keep our attention for a long time in concentration meditation. Actually, that is not the real success. After we stand up, we are like ordinary people. Our real success depends on the duration that we practice inside meditation, reflecting on impermanence. Then we create an unshaken mind. We create an unshaken mind. As soon as we look at something as the result of practicing inside meditation, we can suddenly reflect on impermanence. Then our mind doesn't fixed in outside. Our real success in our spiritual path completely depends on the duration that we practice impermanence, anicca. How do we practice impermanence? Our internal senses, spheres, are impermanent. The objects which come to our senses are also impermanent. What is the impermanence that Buddhism says? Impermanent is not just changing. Impermanence is that Buddhism says is not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Ahutva sambhutam hutva nabhavisyati. As we mentioned before, there are some ready-made things in outside in the conventional truth, but according to ultimate truth, there are no ready-made things in the world. In our spiritual world, everything that we create at the moment as instant. Then, as soon as you remember something, your house, your home, your children, your relatives, you know that is only a thought. If you think just now your children, you remind your mind, not the real things. If you can think the real situation, your home at the moment, you should have an ability to tell that what your children are doing just now. You can tell. You read your mind at the moment, not the real situation. When you think your late father, You don't think the present situation. You read your mind what happened in the past. If we have this ability, if we have this skill, actually we don't suffer when we think something. If we can understand this reality at the moment, we are reflecting on impermanence. In 1 second, you have only one experience in your mind. When you think your children, your entire life is your children. At the moment, actually, according to ultimate truth, even you don't have your clothes. When you think your clothes, at the moment, your world is your clothes. When you think your vehicle on the street, at the moment your entire life is your vehicle. When you think your mom, at the moment your entire life is your mom. When you think something, if you think they are outside, it means you are in the samsaric circle. It means you are ready to come back to the world. Even though you remove your physical body at the moment, your mind is ready to come back with the same physical body, according to your mental situation. And Buddhism always teaches us how to overcome this ignorance or delusion. What is the delusion that we have? When we think something, we think they are outside. And also, when we think something, we usually think, before I think it, before I experience it, it was here. After I experience it, remains. That is the delusion. That is true, but according to only conventional truth. Conventional truth is not the real truth. The real truth is ultimate truth or Paramatta Satya. That means we always create things in our spiritual world. That experience doesn't come to present from the past. That thoughts we create at the moment according to our mental conditions, according to our karmic law, according to desire, according to ignorance. These are the reasons, these are the conditions which cause to create a thought. When we are rich in wisdom, we always reflect on only impermanence. Day by day, our main purpose should be that we should develop our wisdom from moment to moment. And for that, we have to fulfill some kind of spiritual things, such as concentration meditation, virtue, loving kindness meditation, and practicing generosity, and taking care of our parents. Those are the qualities that we should practice as primary techniques. For example, if you want to go to another country, you should go to airport first. But the flight never comes to your house. Even though you have an air ticket, you should go to airport by your car. Then you can find your flight. This is spiritual path also like that. Having a flight is like concentration meditation. And flying is like practicing insight meditation. And reach the destination is like getting rid of suffering, getting rid of ignorance. And the things that you do to go to airport is like virtue, generosity, loving kindness, and fulfilling your duties for your relatives and friends, for the government. Those are the things that you should do, like you do some things to go to airport. Without doing those things, you can't reach even the airport. Although you have air ticket, having an air ticket like knowing this process, the path, map or address, the path of liberation. Even though you have a map, if you have no courage, you can't reach the destination. That is why from the small thing, we have to practice day by day. If we have close relatives and friends who have done some duties for us, we have to pay our gratitude for them. That is also very important. And also there are other benefits that you receive throughout practicing some meritorious deeds, are having longevity, health, good friends. Those are the visible results that you receive throughout practicing generosity and virtue. When you practice generosity, when you are generous, your health increases, your longevity increases, and you can find good friends who explained the Buddha's real message. You have received these kind of facilities with good association as the result of your present good behavior, your life. That is why we should have a good behavior, good life in this life. That is also very beneficial to fulfill our spiritual goals. Here, we think we discussed the 5 steps that we can use to reduce anger. Reducing anger is one of the signs that we are on the path of liberation. If we want to see the beauty of our life, we have to overcome defilements. If we are unhappy, if we are suffering, it means our mind is polluted with greed, lust, hatred and delusion. That is why, day by day, our main purpose should to reduce these negative thoughts from our mind. As primary techniques to overcome greed, we can practice generosity. When we are going to reduce lust, we can practice the contemplating on impurity of our body parts. When we go to reduce anger, we should practice loving kindness again and again. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Actually, according to Buddhism, the skills that we practice can be divided into 2. One of them is mundane level skills. The other one is supra-mundane level skills. Practicing loving kindness in the conventional truth is related to mundane level. The highest, yes? Okay, that's right. Okay, thank you for your comment. The highest merit or wholesome thing in the mundane level is practicing loving kindness. Practicing loving kindness is the highest wholesomeness in the mundane level. That is why Buddha says, if you offer something to others, it is a merit sometimes for 100 lives. If you offer a house to a person, it is more beneficial than other things, other offerings. If you practice the virtue or sila or morality, it is better than you are offering a house to a person. If you give Dhammadana, if you help others to listening to Dhamma, Sabbadanan Dhammadanan Jinati. The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Again Buddha said that if you have good discipline, virtue in your physical and verbal behavior, that is more important. Finally, Buddha says, in mundane level, the highest merit or wholesomeness is if you can practice 1 second loving kindness meditation. It is better than all other meritorious deeds that you do. If you want to see the visible results, immediately effectiveness in Buddhism, you have to practice meditation. We always say the qualities of the Dhamma. Dhamma is well expounded by the Buddha. Visible results, immediately effective. If you want to see that Dhamma is visible results, immediately effective, you have to practice loving kindness meditation. Then a lot of wishes in your life will be successful as the result of this highest, valuable, meritorious act. That is why Buddha says, the highest merit in mundane level, in the conventional truth, is practicing loving kindness. And what is the highest skill in the supramundane level? Reflecting on impermanence, suffering and egolessness. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. 3 characteristics. Reflecting on these 3 characteristics, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and egolessness, the highest skills that we can practice in the supramundane level. Whenever we reflect on impermanence, at the moment, we don't depend on any outside material things and even in our mind. We completely depend on wisdom. This is the real success in our spiritual life. And day by day, we should go forward on this path, acquiring some meritorious acts, practicing 3 meritorious deeds, dana, sila and bhavana, generosity, virtue and meditation, having results such as longevity, good health, complexion, good friends. Day by day we should go forward. And every moment we should spend to reflect on impermanence. Because the highest skill, the highest thing that we can do in our this very rare life is reflecting on impermanence. And again, we can reflect on several things. Our internal spheres, external objects, nama and rupa. Nama means mental formations and rupa means forms and 5 aggregates. These are the things that we can reflect on as impermanent. Then not only we go forward on the path of liberation, but our mundane level wishes also will be fulfilled as the result of this spiritual effort. Have you any question in this discourse?
So, yes, you have to practice loving kindness to everyone. So what if you're trying to practice to someone who treats you always with anger, physically, verbally? Do you still keep trying to have loving kindness with a person, or you just put yourself away from them?
Please explain.
Yes, so you said that you have to be practicing loving kindness to everyone.
Yes.
But what if there's someone in your life, or I don't know, you're driving traffic and the person is abusive, verbally, physically, in different scenarios in life. So do you still try to practice loving kindness and interact with the person, or you just, go away from them?
Actually, two things that we should fulfill practicing loving kindness. One of them is keeping a safety in our side. Even though we wish that may all beings be well and happy, sometimes they are suffering. We can control them. Here, we purify our mind. Sometimes, if they are strong in their spirituality, they can get some benefits from us. But if they are weak, our wishes don't go to them. But we have results in our side. Because anger is in our side. Sometimes, even though I am angry with you, you don't know that I am angry with you. Anger is in my side. Then when I purify my mind, I release my mind from anger. This is one of the things. On the other side, we don't know other people, whether they have good actions verbally or mentally. But we usually are angry with our close relatives and friends. Then we know about them. Especially, we are angry with our close relatives and friends. Then we know very well who they are. Then we can think about them. But generally, we wish all of them, may all beings be well and happy.
Yes. But if they are abusive, like I think what he was trying to say, if they are abusive, continuously doing bad things or negative things to you, what should you do? Should you avoid them? Don't allow them in your personal space around you? I mean, how would you do that? Say, for instance, if, I'm not married, but say, for instance, if a person is in a relationship, if they're married, husband and wife, and either the husband is abusive to the wife, the wife is abusive to the husband, how would you deal with that? Or if it's friends, if they're abusive to you, treat you bad, make you feel bad. But if you have mindfulness, they shouldn't be able to do that, because you should have control and not let them be able to do that. Because you're detached from them emotionally. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. If you're to be detached from different elements in life, people, circumstances, I think is a beautiful thing, because you're not vulnerable to hurt or the suffering that they want to instill on you for sometimes no reason whatsoever. And sometimes it's beyond your control. On jobs, people have abusive.
Yes, the thing is actually we can cover the all earth we can cover our feet. Like that, we can control all other people. But we can do something and taking care of our mind. There are lot of problems in the society. Some people are struggling. Some people are blaming each other. Actually, we can control them. Yes, but the thing is, especially, we should take care of our own mind. If we can reduce our anger, then we are healthy mentally.
If we can reduce our anger, then what?
If we can overcome our anger, even though other people have problems, we have no problem.
Right.
Yes, the thing is, we always should purify our mind. Then, even though some people have problems, they don't affect us. The special thing that Buddhism says is taking a refuge in our mind. Having a refuge, safety in our own mind.
That's the safe place.
Yes.
For us to.
Our mind is the center.
Yeah.
If we can purify our mind from anger, that is the thing that we can do. We can control all things outside. But the thing is, when someone hates us, even though they blame us, they hit us, if we are not angry with them, their activity doesn't affect us.
It doesn't affect us.
Physically we have some problems, but mentally we have a safety.
Right.
On the other side, the special thing is, we use loving kindness meditation as a primary technique. In the conventional truth, when we think may all beings be well and happy, actually we are in the conventional truth. What is that? We think that there are some people outside. Actually it is not true. It is true only in the conventional truth. When we go to the other level, ultimate truth, actually there are no people outside. Only 4 fundamental elements. We create people inside. When we remove our delusion or ignorance reflecting on impermanence, we have only a thought, present thought. For example, when you think someone who blames you, actually just now, is he blaming you? Is he blaming you just now? No. But the thing is, if you think there is a person outside, even though he doesn't blame you now, you are blamed yourself.
Right.
We are always blamed by ourselves. A person can blame you once when you are ignorant. If you can't live in the present moment, you are blamed again and again.
Right, but if we understand impermanence, then conditions change second by second.
A person can blame you once.
Right.
If you are ignorant, if you are not mindful, you are blamed again and again.
That's the memory. You're allowing the memory, the condition.
When you think some people are not good, some people are struggling, actually sometimes they are happy, they are practicing meditation at the moment, you are burned out yourself. You are blamed by yourself. The thing is, Buddha says, a person can blame you once. If you are ignorant, if you are not mindful, you are blamed again and again by your ignorance. This is the ability that we should create in our life. And we always look at outside. Actually, in the outside world, there are only 4 fundamental elements.
And what is that? Earth
Earth element, fire, water, air. And we think, this is a person, this is my son, this is my father, this is my grandson. We create names, persons. But outside, there are only 4 fundamental elements.
And these are the elements that,
according to our mental conditions, we create, these are the persons, these are the things. For example, when you look at far away, you can see there is someone there. But it is not a person, it is a picture there, a statue there. But you think, this is a good person, he is coming here, he is not good. Everything we create inside. But outside, even though you see person or a statue, no matter what you see, there are only 4 fundamental elements. You create things according to your mental conditions. For example, if there is a person here, then his mom is here, mom thinks that this is my son. When there is a lion here, lion thinks that this is a very good diet for me. If the sun is outside, the sun should be for everyone. But sun is only for mom. This is a diet for the lion.
So, in other words, when people are in our life, we can project their behavior, everything, that this person is coming into my personal space and he's gonna or she's gonna manifest good behavior. I'm sending that thought to that person, so when they come, I'm expecting good behavior, not bad behavior, right?
Actually, good or bad is created by ourselves. Sometimes he is doing a good things. You think it is bad. Some people is appreciating him.
That's right.
It is actually in the spiritual world, in the ultimate truth, there are no good or bad things. Good or bad things only in the conventional truth.
Because something good for you might be bad for me.
Right, so that's the conventional truth was...
Good or bad depends on the conventional truth. Even karmic law, even karmic activities depends on conventional truth. Now we think, please do good deeds for a blissful life. Actually, it is true only the conventional truth. When we go to the ultimate truth, actually we can say that there is a person who will be reborn in another life. It is a deep concept in Buddhism. Everything in the world, even the karmic law, even rebirth, going to heaven or hell, also depends on the conventional truth.
Well, we think it's good or bad.
Everything depends on the conventional truth.
So, if we take like Arahat, Rahatan, they wouldn't do like loving and kindness meditation.
Actually, sometimes they practice, but they can't find a person outside. Actually, just now, we create some people outside, not only practicing loving kindness, but when I preach Dhamma for you, I create some people outside. You know, there are some recordings that some monks do in the recording rooms. There is no audience. They create something in mind. There are a lot of people look at around me, now I preach Dhamma. Like that, here also like that. I create some people outside. Actually, there are no things outside. I create myself in my mind, then I preach Dhamma for you. Even Arahants know this reality very well. Understanding this reality, they deal with the people. For example, when you near the ocean, beach, You can look at very far horizon. When you look at horizon, you may see that the horizon, the sky and the ocean is there in the same place. But you never reach that horizon.
So you said
This world also like that. We do something, we tell something, we name some people, we create some people according to our mental conditions. Then, after we experience, after we understand this reality, we always know very well, now I create something according to my mental conditions. Then, we don't depend on outside. Now, even we practice loving kindness meditation, we depend on outside. But practicing loving kindness is not the destination. It is only a primary technique. When we go to the higher level, actually we don't find people outside to even practice loving kindness. We see only a thought in my mind at the moment. Then we correct the thought, we correct the vision. When we correct the vision, we don't have to correct outside things. We don't wish to may all beings be well and happy outside.
So, Bhante, what did you call the four elements? What did you call them?
Earth element.
I mean,
Everything is made with these four things.
But what did you call those elements? You said something. It escaped me. You said
like a word.
Yeah, for the four.
Like one word for the.
Satara Mahabhuta Rupa. Four fundamental elements. Four fundamental elements in English. In Pali, Mahabhuta Rupa. Everything is made with these four things. Sometimes one of them is a lot.
No.
For example, when you think the water is the fire, water elements are lot, other elements are less. Even air is a lot, but even some water also are less there.
Those four elements are inseparable. They are like together.
Yes, they are together. Always they are together. One of them is bigger than others.
Depending on.
So it's air and water and earth and what else? Fire.
Fire has a lot of versions. Fire and coal, ice. It goes here and there.
And what did you say your definition of the ultimate truth in comparison? I understand the conventional truth, but the ultimate truth.
Yes, conventional truth means, for
I
example,
understand that one is the ultimate truth.
yes, yes. First of all, I should tell that the conventional truth is like, before we look at something, there is something here. After our eyes go away, the things that we saw remain. That is conventional truth. According to ultimate truth, there are no ready-made things. When we look at something, suddenly the experience arises and immediately it ceases. Before we experience, it was not here. After we experience, it doesn't remain. That is the nature of ultimate truth. When we look at ultimate truth, we don't depend on outside. When we live in conventional truth, we depend on outside. That is the very clear difference. Okay, thank you for your listening to this Dhamma discussion. Today we discussed Aghata-pativinaya, how to reduce anger, anger management in Buddhism. We discussed Aghata-pativinaya Sutta, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya. And first of all, we discussed the 5 steps of reducing anger, and then we explained the ultimate truth and what is the highest contemplation that we should practice. And here we discussed the mundane level and supra-mundane level, and conventional truth and ultimate truth. And by practicing meditation in the concentration meditation, we look at inside our mind. When we practice inside meditation, we live in wisdom, and at that moment, we don't depend even on our mind. We completely depend on wisdom. Then we see only thing that impermanence. The real success in our spiritual life is the duration of reflecting on impermanence. Even though we can live in the same posture for a long time, practicing concentration meditation, actually we are not successful. The reason is, as soon as we stand up, we are in the ordinary world. We are like ordinary people. But our spiritual success depends on the duration of practicing, reflecting on impermanence. It is like writing letter in the light. Even though light is put off, the letter that we wrote is received. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. Day by day we go forward with this discussion, and especially I would like to tell you that if you have good attention and mindfulness when you are listening to Dhamma, it is not only a listening but a meditation. And this is one of the liberation, one of the doors of liberation, one of the entrances of liberation, that is listening to Dhamma. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. By the power of all these meritorious activities that we acquired here throughout observing 5 precepts, worshipping the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, practicing meditation, listening to Dhamma, may our departed relatives also receive the spiritual energy. May they enhance their spiritual life finally. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives. Recite in the Gatha. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may guardian deities and angels also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their divine energy. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may you also be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pansāca niddukkha Bhayam pantāca nibbhayam Sokam pantāca nissokam Hontu sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you.